3, 2, 1. We're live. Hey guys, we are Sean and Kristy. This is Long Long Honeymoon coming to you with another live stream event. We're going to field your questions over the next 60 minutes about life, the universe, and everything, including RV camping. We have had a really dramatic week here.
Yeah.
Little too much drama, if you want to know the truth.
Yeah. Too exciting for our taste.
Where we live in the Deep South, this time of year, there's often severe weather. And there was a major severe weather event that happened just a few days ago. And it certainly disrupted everyone's lives for quite a while.
Yeah, some for a long time.
Including some dear family members of ours.
Yes.
So
we'll talk a little bit about that later.
Yeah. We want to give some greetings. Hey, Green Dragon.
We actually do travel 6 months out of the year for the guy that's asking.
Yeah,
so.
Hey, that's Mike Myers. I love your movies, Mike. You need to do another Austin Powers. We actually do go lots of places.
I don't know if 6 months isn't long enough for you. Sorry.
We've been to 49 states. We've been everywhere except Hawaii, and been to about 40 different countries for those of you who are into international travel. So we're definitely big travelers.
Hi, Kelly.
Hey, Kelly and Moody.
Neighbor.
Kelly knows what
nearby.
We're talking about, the severe weather. There's Jeff out on the left coast.
Hi, Jeff. Hi, Jim.
There's Ray from California. Has a question about his generator. We're going to be talking about generators during this hour. We actually got a new generator this week. It's the Champion 2500 watt dual fuel unit.
Yes.
And we're working on a review that we're going to post today. And then the severe weather hit, and we had some other drama happen with baby girl, the Chihuahua.
Yes.
We got kind of disrupted. So we're going to post that review next week. But as far as securing your generator in the back of your truck, we have some Kevlar cables and padlocks. And our truck has basically, I guess you'd call them hooks.
Sort of like anchor points.
Anchor points in the back.
Also, if you get like a rubber chalk, you can sort of like wedge up underneath it. That sort of helps from moving around. Oh, hi, Rick Kessler.
There's Rick Kessler in Michigan.
Hope you're staying warm in Michigan. Oh,
Paul is in sunny
Hi,
Phoenix.
Paul.
Jeff says, Kristy, you got her hair did.
I did get my hair did.
Yeah, she did.
Thanks for noticing.
What about Sean? He got his hair did.
Did
Sean.
you? You did
No,
get your hair did.
no, I didn't get my hair
I
did.
cut your hair the last time.
Yeah, you did.
I did a pretty good job.
Yeah, that's one thing that came out of the pandemic. My wife started cutting my hair again.
I did it a long time ago
Yeah.
for many years when he used to wear like a buzz cut. So I had to learn some new skills because he doesn't wear that style of hair cut anymore.
If it doesn't turn out well, there's always the hat. Hey, Michael in Cleveland. Hello, Pamela in North Carolina.
Ronald in Georgia.
Hello, Christopher in South Carolina.
Hi, Christopher.
Hey to Mike in Tennessee. We got people all over, including Tim on the rainy Oregon coast.
Is it raining a lot there right now?
Thorsten says, glad you guys are okay. Appreciate that. Somebody asked about the severe weather. I was going to attempt to show you guys some video.
Yeah, so you can sort of see what's going on. Not far from where we live.
Now, this might be a little bit ambitious for my limited skills here. But I actually have a video I was going to show you guys. We'll see if we can get it to work. But if this is working, this is Kristy's mother's famous potato salad.
Yeah, my mom has famous potato salad.
Now, we started out this week in brilliant fashion celebrating Kristy's father, Harry's 82nd birthday.
Yes.
And we're super excited. And Larry and Mary Rose joined us.
So this is their house.
This is
a
their
week ago.
house. And this is where we had our
Wedding shower.
back when we got married.
And this is their house.
This is their house
now.
today. So isn't that crazy? And what's even crazier is they were inside the house when this happened.
Yeah.
They got to a safe space in the basement. They basically were into a closet. And as soon as they got inside the closet, the entire brick home collapsed.
So they were sort of in that area down at the bottom of those ladders. And if you've watched the news in the last couple of days, you've probably seen an interview with them. I think Good Morning America interviewed them, and countless other news stations have interviewed them, just because it's truly a miracle that they came out of this with only some minor injuries, some scratches, and my uncle had a nail puncture his arm and some bumps and bruises, and that's kind of it. I mean, it's truly a miracle.
So this tornado blew through this area. If you don't live in tornado country, it's kind of like having Godzilla roaming around in your hometown.
Yeah.
This incredible destructive force that could come anywhere, could go any direction. And in fact, the tornado went through Oak Mountain State Park,
Yes.
which is where we often like to camp with our Airstream. And that's where we really recommend that people camp when they're in the area. So that does make the point about severe weather. If you are RV traveling, you need to keep a few things in mind with regard to the weather, especially this time of year.
Yeah. Anytime you're in an area where tornadoes are an option, you need to know what county you're in when you camp, because most weather warnings are going to be listed by county, not necessarily the name of the town that you're in. So that's one of those things that you don't really think about when you check in somewhere, to ask what county you're in or even to look it up. And sometimes by the time the storm's coming through, it's almost too late to look that information up because you might not have cell service anymore.
So we really recommend that everyone have a weather radio. Now, you can get weather radio apps on your phone. You can get weather radios that are built into CB or two-way radios. And so we have those. We also have this little unit, and we were using this past week. It will sound an alarm if there is a weather event in your area, and there's a little sort of robotic weather voice that comes on and tells you what's going on.
Yeah. We're actually going to do a video in the next few weeks talking specifically about severe weather when you're traveling in a camper, just to talk about what you should do, what you shouldn't do, things to look out for. You know, it's one of those things you don't want to think about, but it does happen, and it's a scary thing when it does happen. And so, you know, you need to be prepared. And thank goodness my aunt and uncle made it out alive and well, and they're well insured. And so they're going to rebuild and, you know, go through that process. So
yeah, if you saw national news, like for example, Good Morning America interviewed them, pretty much all the national news networks interviewed them.
Yeah.
I mean, their survival, a lot of people are saying, is basically a miracle.
It really is. If you see where they came from underneath that pile of brick, you know, it's truly amazing. Somebody was asking, is that a leg lamp? Yes.
Yes, that was Larry's
his workbench.
prized leg lamp.
And that leg lamp was still standing upright. That tells you how bizarre tornadoes are. They actually had boxes of light bulbs on his workbench that did not move. They're not broken, but the house caved in. It's just crazy. Mr.
Roboto says, glad they had a basement. I heard that was a rarity in the South. In our area, basements are pretty common.
Yeah.
You know, down in Florida, they're very uncommon.
Yeah, but where we live, most houses do have a basement specifically because of tornadoes. Some people will just have a storm shelter of some sort. Thank you, Faith. We appreciate that
it very much.
Thanks
very
for
kind.
the tip.
Yeah, we're so glad they're safe too.
Thank you, Linda. We appreciate that.
Sticker. Yeah, you know, this tornado was coming in our direction, and Larry and Mary Rose live not really far from LOLOHO National Forest. And I got a phone call, or I was texting Kristy. Kristy was out getting her hair did.
Thursday morning, I just left my hair appointment. I was on my way home, and I stopped at Costco.
And I got this message that
truck tires
that their home had been hit and it collapsed, and Larry was trapped inside. And
yeah, so, he was trapped for about an hour. So yeah, Sean was loading up Seymour. I went
over there, and then I got the message that they had gotten them out, and they were already over to the hospital. So, and I got caught in traffic then because there were so many trees down and power lines down, and
there were some trees down on the highway. There's some cars that got trees hit them on the highway. So,
yes, those leg lamps are fragile.
Yeah,
that is it.
That's right.
One really great story that's come out of the tornado. The leg lamp survives.
Right. Oh, my cousin Bobby actually just commented and said, remember, he made it for a gag gift. So on my side of the family, there's so many of us, we don't exchange gifts. We do a kind of dirty Santa gift where it's a gag gift. So everybody thinks up their best, funniest gag, and you never know what kind of gift you're going to open. And my Uncle Larry has made some notoriously funny ones over the years, and the leg lamp was one of them. So,
some people have said, and understandably so, they want to avoid tornado country. But I have to say, when we're RV traveling, probably the scariest tornado moment that I can remember was in Michigan.
Yeah.
Then I guess we were near Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
And there were tornadoes blowing through that night. And we learned a lot of lessons that night because it was kind of a terrifying night. And we didn't know what county we were in.
Right.
And so like the weather folks were talking about, you're in such
if you're
and
in
such
this
county,
take cover. And we're like, what county are we in? And it was like 10 o'clock at night. So it's not like we could run up to the office and ask. And the other thing is, if you're somewhere where storms happen, know where the storm shelter is, because staying in your RV is not the best option. So ask where the storm shelter is. Most RV parks in an area where tornadoes happen will have a designated place for you to go. A lot of times it's the bathhouse or some sort of, utility building or something like that has, concrete walls and maybe a basement if you're lucky. But definitely things that you need to ask about. So
Ernie just bought a new Champion 4500 generator.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
The one thing I will say, Ernie, is you probably can't lift your 4500 like this. So this is the one that we just got.
Yes.
I was going to show you guys. We're testing it right now, and it is the dual fuel. And, during severe weather, it's nice to have a generator. That's a nice thing about having a generator.
Absolutely.
So, we're talking about this tornado damage, and tornadoes are so bizarre in that they could devastate one house, and then the house next door will be completely untouched.
Yeah. They're weird like that.
Yeah.
So, you never know. My aunt and uncle have lived in that house for 21 years. Never had anything even come close to them before. And then Thursday it happened. And thank goodness they were paying attention to the weather. They had sheltered in their basement and were in their safe space where they're supposed to be. And
I think something I learned from their experience and hearing them tell about it is that everything happens so suddenly.
Yeah.
You don't have time to get to your safe space once your house starts collapsing.
Right.
It's not like you have 30 seconds to run down there. It all fell down in a matter of seconds.
Right.
It probably went from being completely intact to being collapsed in seconds.
The other thing I will say is having copies of like your driver's license, your credit cards, things like that are somewhere.
That's what Bobby's saying.
Yeah.
Because Larry, his wallet was somewhere in the house.
Yeah. And he was looking for it. They found my aunt's wallet. So they had her ID and credit card and bank card and checkbook, but they didn't have my uncle's. And he said, that's the last thing you think about when you're going to your storm shelter is to bring your wallet with you. And he said, man, I wish I had done that, because even if you survive and you're okay, you want to have access to your own things. It's one thing. It's great that you have friends and family that are saying, hey, I'll give you whatever you need. Don't worry about it. But it's nice to have your own card so you can go and do what you need to do and not have to ask anybody else.
We'll say thanks to John Chalker for his kind comments.
Oh, thank you so much.
And Good Oz asked if they were in
Eagle Point.
So Eagle Point was really
you probably
the hardest
heard that
hit.
Neighborhood talked about a lot on the news, and they were hit pretty severely. There were other places in central Alabama that had a lot of damage as well. So
speaking of Eagle Point, you got War Eagle.
War Eagle from San Antonio. Yay, War Eagle.
Roger says the weather radios that will come on and wake you in the night are great. Because he lives in Tornado Alley, Indiana. That's what this one will do.
It has like this sort of blaring, like la 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 sound.
Actually,
that was my impersonation.
That's pretty good. What does it sound like?
La, 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 la.
When ours went off on Thursday, I did record it. Of course, you know me, I have to be walking around the video camera. And it's kind of a terrifying message because the weather radio says this is a life-threatening situation. Get to your safe space now. There may be debris, flying through the air, and all of that certainly turned out to be true.
Yep. Oh, thank you, Big Truck, Big RV.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Collab on new truck.
Yeah, Big Truck, Big
twist
RV
our arms.
has a cool YouTube channel.
Yes, they do.
So maybe we could, The only issue is the new truck. Once we have the new truck, that'll be a perfect collaboration. Maybe you guys can help us find the right one.
That's right.
Old Seymour is still kicking, but Seymour.
Yes. There have been so many terrible storms this year. He's right. The ice storms in Texas, tornadoes, fires. Goodness. And I think it's so interesting. People are like, oh, I would never live somewhere where there are tornadoes. Well, then you talk to people that live where there are tornadoes and they would say, oh, I'd never live somewhere where there are earthquakes or fires or, hurricanes. So it's just whatever you're used to, really. Every region of the country has their active nature that can possibly
I think last year in California was fires. Wildfires in California were just rampant and really throughout the West last year.
Oh, good old Sosie's and Highland Lakes.
Yep.
Across. Yeah. And it almost hit that neighborhood too. I was really shocked to see the footage of the tornado going up over Double Oak Mountain, if you're familiar with Birmingham, just because you don't usually see tornadoes hit on, mountainous areas. They're usually kind of like in flat valleys. So it's shocking to see it going over the side of a small mountain, foothills of Appalachian Mountains.
I'm going to answer a camping question or an RV travel question, shall we say, from Mark, who asked, do you use your cruise control when you pull your camper? Do you want the honest answer or the by the book answer? I think the by the book answer is it's not really recommended. The honest answer is
sometimes yes.
Maybe we do. I do. But some people will say you shouldn't do that.
Sometimes your leg gets tired if you're driving across, Nebraska and, you've just been driving for hours and hours. Sometimes your leg needs a break. So
I want to get a shout out to Mach 5.
Oh, thank you so much.
See if I can get this.
They are such nice people. They have been big supporters.
Yeah, and they're on the road
that
now.
So much.
Aside from New Orleans, can't tune in as I'm on the road doing family stuff and show my support. No, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
Yeah, we really appreciate
it. We hope to see you guys the next time we stop in New Orleans. It's
a
great place to RV camp, by the way.
Yeah, I have been wondering how it's been going for you because I knew that you were picking up your camper.
And you were sort of doing your
getting ready to
your big first run,
maiden cruise.
So you'll have to send us a message and let us know how it went. How did everybody get along? How did everything go?
Hey, Dennis and Amy.
Hi.
One of our favorite channels.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
That's kind of you to say.
I feel like we've had a good month on Long Long Honeymoon because we talked about, planning an RV trip.
Yes.
And, Kristy's kind of the expert in that category.
He just drives where I tell him to.
We talked about budgeting. We talked about finding campsites.
Yes.
And so we thought it'd be a good time to do a live event because we haven't done one in a while. And we're going to try to do more this year.
Yes, Jeff Lake, he's right. Not enough warning. We have an amazing weatherman here in Central Alabama. His name is James Spann. And if you've ever lived in this area, you know who I'm talking about, but he's famous in the meteorological
Spann
world.
Is the man.
Is that the word? Anyhow, he doesn't just tell you where to go, where the tornado is about to go. He will give you specific, not only streets, but he will tell you landmarks because he knows this area so well. He will literally say, if you're on the corner of Main Street and there's the Family Dollar on the left and the, Ace Hardware across the street and the BP station on the next corner, you need to be sheltering in place. I mean, he's that specific. So it's really amazing to have somebody like that as your
He's a real blessing to this area. He saved a lot of lives.
He really is.
He saves lives every year.
And actually his own home got damaged in this last tornado and he was live on the air when it went over his neighborhood and he stepped off for a minute to check with his wife and make sure she was okay. And then he came back on the air like he never skipped a beat.
We'll see if we can interview him. I would love to interview him on Long Long Honeymoon. Maybe we'll make some calls this week and see if we can arrange that. I have a really great question from Kate Johnson. No one has ever asked us this question before. Are you ticklish? If so, who is more ticklish? Are you ticklish? No, I am a little ticklish, but
he is ticklish, but he gives a fake laugh when you tickle him. And it annoys me so bad because I'm like, if I tickle you, I want to hear your real laugh because he has a really good laugh. And he'll do this sort of like
tickling makes me uncomfortable. It's just sort of like
I think it makes everybody uncomfortable. That's why you laugh because it's just so I'm very ticklish. Sean is ticklish.
Not a big fan of being tickled, but that is the first time we've ever been asked about tickling.
Yep.
Bobby says,
yes, closed-toed shoes, helmet, or large.
Yeah, we do have
do
some
have
hard
helmets.
hats. Yeah, I did have a hard hat on at some point.
Yeah, we actually
this
have.
doesn't do very much actually,
but for them to have a chin strap is important too, because if you just have something that's just sitting on your head, well, it's a tornado. It's going to just suck that bad boy right off. So if you have a helmet, make sure it's like a bike helmet or a repellent. Like we have helmets that you wear repelling, even though we don't repel, that have chin straps so that they won't blow away. So it's just remembering to grab that when you're going to your safe space and, making sure you've got on some good shoes because you never know.
Yep. That's what Chad says. Have a plan for severe weather and keep your shoes on.
That's right. You don't want to have to climb out of debris in bare feet because, man, you don't think about it when you look at a house, but just going over to the property where my aunt and uncle's house is now in pieces, the number of nails sticking up out of boards and just in the yard, just that had come out of people's roofs. It's really unbelievable. So you want to have on some nice sturdy shoes.
Absolutely.
Just for worst case scenario. And thank God, hopefully you won't have to worry about it. But if you do, you'll be able to get out.
Mark asked for my thoughts on the Champion 4650 generator. I'll have to look at that specific model. I did look at the new 4,500 watt unit, and maybe that's the one that you're referencing. That's the dual fuel. My concern about it for our purposes was its height, that it probably would not fit beneath our tonneau cover. So that's kind of unique to our setup situation because we pretty much have to store our generator in the bed of the truck. Although with these smaller units, we could store it in the back seat of the truck in theory if we wanted to keep it inside. So it looks like a really nice unit. I like the direction Champion has headed with their design. I think this current generation has several sort of noticeable quality improvements, it looks like to me. But I'll try to get my hands on one. I will definitely be producing more generator content this year. We're going to have a good video this next week. Let's see. Good Oz says, DW and I enjoy casting your channel to the big TV.
Oh, goodness. Seeing us up close. And
you guys
probably a little too much
in Highland Lakes
4K or whatever.
Yeah, sometimes when you see yourself on TV, you want to dial down the resolution.
It's like, can we make that a little more blurry?
Let me go back to some 10-year-old cameras.
Oh, Patty Westcott.
Hey, Patty Westcott.
Patty, hope you're doing well. Patty is a patron and a member on YouTube. We greatly appreciate that. We had the pleasure of meeting Patty and her husband in Grand Teton National Park 2 years ago, almost a year and a half ago. And they are in Texas. But
I say check out the forest campgrounds just outside the north and northeast entrances at Yellowstone.
We've heard a lot of really good things about those campgrounds. And she mentions later that you can find them both on Campendium. If you're not familiar, Campendium is an app or a website that you can go to find all sorts of great campsites out there. A lot of them, the boondocking campsites that are free, some of them national forests, which are usually, I don't know, anywhere from $10 to $20 a night or less. So it's a great resource. And if you haven't looked into that, definitely do it.
Yeah, this is sort of a local running joke in our area when you have severe weather and you're watching James Spann, the weathercaster. If he's got his coat off and rolled up his sleeves, you're in trouble.
Yes, that means you're in for a long night of storms, that it's going to be really serious. No messing around. I think you missed a couple of people. Scroll back.
I want to say hello to Marcelo.
Yes, and Marcelo is a new member on YouTube, so thank you very much for joining, Marcelo. We appreciate that very much.
Yeah, appreciate it very much.
Thanks for joining.
Glad that our videos have been helpful. And as always, if you ever have any topics you'd like to see us address, feel free to post a comment, send us a question.
Yes,
we're always
you never know when your question will be chosen as a campfire question.
Because we want to deliver to you what will be most helpful to you.
Yes.
Let's see. Tammy asked about the Predator 3500. That's a popular generator, but we have not tried the Predator yet. I'm not saying we won't. Mike Griffin said, hang in there. So glad everyone is safe.
Well, there he was right there. No, right there.
There we go. I want to give
Thanks,
Mike a shout
Griffin.
out. Thank
you,
Mike.
Appreciate that so much.
Greatly appreciated.
Yeah.
Now, somebody asked another pertinent question that I wanted to address because I said there'd been a lot of drama this week.
Yes.
We had more drama with baby girl, our beloved family Chihuahua.
She's right here. So hold on.
Kathleen asked how was baby girl. Well, baby girl had a scheduled dental cleaning on Tuesday. And if you're familiar with Chihuahuas, maybe this is true of all dogs, but their teeth are pretty important to their longevity. And this one does not let us brush her teeth.
She doesn't eat anything hard or crunchy. She's very picky. So her teeth are usually not in great shape because she doesn't eat anything to help clean the tartar off. She doesn't like to chew on anything. She won't chew on a bone or one of those little teeth cleaner bones. She's just very picky.
And even though she looks like a 6-month-old puppy, she's actually 11 years old.
Yes.
And so we had taken her before to have her teeth cleaned and everything
about 3 years ago.
Pretty smoothly. You know, she was loopy on the day of the procedure.
She had to have 9 teeth pulled.
Because they have to put them under a general anesthesia.
Yeah.
But anyway, this time on Tuesday, we went to pick her up the afternoon of her teeth cleaning. She'd been at the vet all day long, and she was having trouble breathing. Her breathing was very labored.
Yeah, she was really and
so she was struggling to oxygenate, and they actually did a test, and her oxygen levels in her blood were only around 70%. And what they think happened is that some water had actually gotten into her lungs
during
the dental cleaning, because she's asleep and they're spraying water in the mouth to clean the teeth. And some of that water got down inside of her tiny little lungs. So this meant a trip to the emergency vet for baby girl, because we needed to get her into an oxygen tent, basically oxygen chamber.
That's right.
And just so she could get enough oxygen. So it was kind of a scary moment. Certainly there was a scary day or so. Yeah.
And the next day we were very, very worried about baby girl. We weren't sure if she was going to survive it or not.
So, I mean, she was sluggish the next day. And then
she spent some time in a little oxygen tent, like little oxygen cage where she could breathe like pure oxygen and help her breathe better. So that actually really helped. She spent a couple of hours in that on Tuesday at the vet. And then when we had to take her to the emergency vet, she got another 2 or so hours in it. And I think that really made a difference. She got some different antibiotics. And
after, I would say 48 hours after this event, she started to really turn around. She got her appetite back and she got some energy back. And she's back to her old self now, pretty much. So we had that drama going on, really kind of at the same time as the severe weather. It was 2 days later, really, that the severe weather hit. And so this past week was just been kind of a mess.
It's been a long week.
But she's good now. Hey, Michael. Michael.
Hi, Michael.
Appreciate
Spark plugs, whatever.
Super chat.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. That's hilarious.
Yeah, Walter says it's funny how you worry about loud generators, then start that clackety old diesel truck up.
That's right.
Our diesel truck is not the quietest on the market.
And we try not to start it before you.
Yeah, the thing is we don't idle it for 3 hours at a time, which happens with a lot of generators.
Fire it up and drive away.
Yeah. But, I'm sincerely thinking about getting a Tesla Cybertruck, which I know it's kind of a radical choice.
You flipping over there, baby
to tow a trailer. But I think that's why it's sort of interesting to me. Plus, I think it's cool. It just looks like a cool futuristic tech gadget, like something I would drive in video games. So, we may go from a noisy old diesel truck to a completely silent Cybertruck. We'll see.
So I won't have to turn off the truck and I'm in a drive-through anymore.
I haven't committed yet, but let's see. Oh, Annie said, I want a generator that requires little to no maintenance. They all require some maintenance.
A little bit.
Yeah, they're all going to require some. I think, you might consider, this is not, they call these solar generators. I don't like calling these generators. This is,
it's not going to power your air conditioning.
I'm going to be reviewing this unit soon. This is a new Jackery model, the Explorer 1500. It's really a big lithium battery paired with some outlets.
Yeah. So you can run a lot of like small appliances off of it, but you're not going to be powering your air conditioner, your microwave, or anything like that.
But it's zero maintenance.
Yeah.
But it's not really a generator.
No.
So even though the industry is calling them generators. All right. I'm going to say, hey.
Hey, Anna.
To Anna.
We see you. We don't hear you.
Yeah, we don't hear you.
But yes. Hi there, Anna.
Yep.
Let's see.
Elsie the Saint says hi to baby girl.
Hi, Elsie the Saint.
Elsie the
Look,
Saint.
you've got a friend out there, baby girl.
I bet Elsie the Saint weighs the equivalent of 30 Chihuahuas, probably.
Probably more. Let's see.
This is an important question from Patrick,
gosh.
and I'm just going to make a comment about, will Alabama beat UCLA? I'm going to say yes.
And why did we start our live event at 5 p.m. tonight?
You may have noticed we started a little bit early this week. And,
so that someone could watch their basketball game.
I'm not a huge basketball fan, but about once every 20 to 30 years, Alabama fields a really good basketball team. And apparently this is our year, so I better pay attention. We've got a really good team. So I'm
going to put baby girl back down on the floor so she can rest. She's made her appearance. So
Vicky Hurst says work in a vet office and dentals are very important. Yeah. I'm really perplexed now about what we're going to do the next time she needs one, because I don't really feel comfortable going through that again. I feel like her life was in danger.
Yeah.
So I don't know what we're going to do. Mike doesn't trust vets.
Well,
I didn't say that. Mike Myers said that.
Yeah.
Andy says, think about replacing old and fading LED lights. I love that idea because our LED lights in our Airstream, well, of course, our Airstream did not come equipped with LED lights. We've switched out to LED, and we were sort of early adopters. And I think the LEDs we have in them were they're
not the greatest.
No, they're not the greatest. They're old and fading.
They were good for the time.
At the time, they were great.
2016 or 15.
Oh, it's been longer than that.
2015, I think.
I just think there's been big strides in that market, and it would be really cool to revamp all of our interior lighting. Like that would be an awesome upgrade.
Yeah.
Because like something I noticed about the new RVs, they've really advanced in lighting. Now they've got LEDs built into everything, the door handle when you're climbing in and out.
And they actually have
like
light fixtures that look sort of cute. Ours are like those sort of plastic.
Yeah.
They almost look like the fluorescent light plastic covers that you have in like office buildings that are so terrible. So yeah, we should really upgrade that.
God bless you,
Anna.
Thank
you, Anna. That's super sweet. God bless you too.
Daryl says, love all your videos. Great info. Not out there yet, but learning as much as I can. Thank you very much. I encourage everyone to go back and watch, our catalog of videos, because a lot of our videos are what I call evergreen. They're intended to be sort of permanent, that you could watch them 2 years from now or 3 years from now. And a lot of the content should still be relevant to you and still be helpful to you.
Right.
That's the idea. Thank you, Silver Agnes.
Oh, thank you.
Obviously a fellow Airstreamer.
Yeah, that's cool.
From the icon.
See what Patty says there.
Oops. Patty says, generator lesson we learned the hard way. We loved the Champion self-start, but didn't take out of the truck bed. Then had a major carburetor repair.
Yeah, if you're going to be riding on some super rough roads, it's probably not a bad idea to take it out when you can.
Yeah, knock on wood, ours has held up pretty well so far. They seem pretty durable.
Yeah.
But I can imagine they do take a beating sometimes in the truck bed. I want to say hi to Todd.
Oh, yeah.
So if you consider the new WaySafe weight distribution hitch, any other, we need to rethink our hitch situation. At the very least, we need new gear.
Yeah.
But
I will say, I think our setup, it's old school, but it's sort of like it works. I'm in the mindset of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I like that it's simple and effective. So I don't know. I don't think we'll go to anything too fancy, but maybe just newer gear, just because it's old and it's wearing out.
I mean, if you look at our weight distribution bars, you can see just the wear and also on the hitch ball, all that stuff, because we've been using the same equipment for more than a decade. Yeah. I guess to its credit, it's
almost
held up very well. Yeah.
14 years in May.
Like at the very least, I'd like to replace all that stuff with new new gear. And I just want to point out that Elsie the St. Bernard weighs 170 pounds. Baby girl weighs 4. I estimated
3.9 actually.
I'm just rounding up to 4.
Yeah.
I estimated that the St. Bernard weighed 35 Chihuahuas.
Or 30 Chihuahuas.
But it's actually about 40, a little more than 40.
You could have 40 baby girls or one Elsie.
So
probably easier to wrangle one Elsie than 40 baby girls.
Cindy says our toy fox terrier is 11 now and doesn't let us out of her sight as she sees us around the camper.
That's so sweet. She's like, no, you're leaving in that thing. What are you doing?
That's interesting. Robert says my vet uses an outside provider who comes to the office and teeth are cleaned with no anesthesia.
We might need some information from you, Robert.
Yeah. The problem with our dog is just, she's a little stubborn when it comes to her teeth. You know, like, I mean, I know she's a tiny thing, but she won't let us.
Like she just,
maybe she would cooperate.
You know,
the weird thing is
that mouth closed and
I do think she will cooperate with strangers sometimes.
Yeah. It's almost like she submits to them. But for us, she's like
when she's at the vet office, she's just like, I guess there's nothing I can do. I'm overwhelmed. I just gotta go along with it. But with us, she'll push back a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's see. John, I want to thank you, John. Says,
is that Lemroux? Lemroux. It's very French last name.
And that's a cool.
I like it.
I like
your picture. Your profile picture is really cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Thanks, John. We appreciate that.
Appreciate it very much.
Let's see.
Gary says, love the Tilly hat. Which one do you wear? This is the Airflow. And we do have it. I've done a video about it. Of course.
He gets asked about it all the time.
About it.
It's linked under almost every video that we've ever posted. In the drop-down box below the video, you'll see a link for Sean's hat. This is actually a new hat.
Yeah.
This is for filming days. Because the other one is so disgusting.
This is my formal Tilly. Yeah, the other one has been through
a lot.
Yeah.
We did wash it the other day and it looks so much better.
It's been soaked with sweat. I mean, it's been to Thailand and Burma and Morocco. Well, I guess not Morocco.
No, the old one was in Morocco.
The old one died in Morocco.
That's because it got bent on a camel. I mean, if you got to lose a hat, that's a good story to tell, right?
Yeah. Give it a shout out to Ed.
Oh, hi, Ed.
Thank you, Ed.
Thank you very much. You appreciate Sean's sense of humor.
Just enjoy your video. Well, be sure and tune in next week because I'm going to be reviewing this champion generator. I'm going to have a little bit of fun with the review. I mean, it will be a substantive review.
But you'll get some laughs out of it,
I think it'll be pretty entertaining and funny. I hope.
Yes, absolutely.
I used to think my sense of humor was really edgy, and then somebody said, "Oh, I like your dad humor or whatever." Not nearly as edgy as I like to think.
But that's good. It's family friendly. You can watch, I think, all of our videos in the presence of children. Maybe the exception would be our hitching video.
I do like humor that adults can appreciate, but is still clean.
Yes.
So that's a fine line to walk.
It takes a skill to do that, I think.
To make it interesting, you have to walk the line every once in a while, but I'll try not to cross it.
No curse words.
Let's see. Philip says we're headed to the north rim of the Grand Canyon. Do you have any input on dispersed camping? Now, there is one place that has an incredible view of the Grand Canyon that we've seen a lot of fellow campers.
Yeah, we haven't camped there. But
I bet it's on Campendium.
It's on Campendium. So if you go to Campendium, you can zoom in on the map and I would just click through. You'll see reviews. People will give you detailed reviews. People will post photos. So yeah, that would be where I would suggest you go to find that information because we haven't camped at that dispersed camping, but we've seen a lot of people who have.
Cessna driver makes the point that new RVers carry checklists.
Absolutely.
We posted a checklist that Kristy wrote up not too long ago.
I mean, it's just basic. It's one of those you can add your own stuff to it, but kind of it'll get you going. It'll get you thinking about it. Gives you a starting point, I think.
I'll give a shout out to Black Riflemen's Organization. So thank you for the awesome content. You helped us complete our first coast to coast.
That's awesome. That's a big trip.
That is a big trip. That's like sailing across the Atlantic and back or something.
Maybe not as scary, but.
Here's a timely question. Exploring Life asks, what is your opinion on Grovant, which is out in Grand Teton National Park, now requiring reservations? We're thinking of returning this fall again. Well, it's a big change for us because we've been going to Grovant pretty much every summer
since 2007.
Since 2007, and one thing we loved about it, it's the largest park in the largest campground in the national park system, and they're never required reservations in the past, pretty much, except for maybe the electric sites, which were relatively new.
Yeah.
So you can always just pull up.
The first year we ever went, we were there in July, and the campground was maybe a third full.
Yeah.
I mean, it used to just be a ghost town. Nobody used to stay there.
So, and you could pull up and you could get a campsite pretty much anytime you wanted.
Never had to worry about a reservation.
And so I think, this is something that has changed partially due to the pandemic and so many so-called COVID campers hitting the road last year that they were swamped.
They were overwhelmed. So I understand why they did it, because last year they would have people lining up at 6 a.m. and they would have 75, 80, 100 cars in line by 8 a.m. and checkout time isn't till 11. So they were having to manage all of that traffic, all of those people. It was a nightmare for the people working there, and I really felt sorry for them because it was just a hellacious year for them. So I totally understand why they did it. I'm sad that they had to do it. Hopefully, maybe in another year or two, it'll go back to at least being partially first come, first serve. I know they probably won't go back to being, 100% first come, first serve. But I made our reservations for September last week.
Yeah, we might make an announcement at some point and have a meetup. And we did a meetup out there a couple of years ago at Dornan's, the restaurant/wine shop pizza place.
I wasn't able to get our favorite site, so I'm bummed about that. We're close to it, but oh well. It is what it is.
Terry asks, have you thought of adding an additional dedicated alternator wired to a 3,000 watt pure sine wave generator all in your truck? Then a 30 amp AC cable to the RV you can use while underway.
Terry, you are much more technologically advanced than we are. And no, I had never thought of doing that because I didn't know you could do that.
Now, I think it's an interesting question. It sounds cool. The new Ford F-150s are having generators basically built into the trucks. Now, I think it may be an option that you can get. Maybe it's with the hybrid, but where they will have, I think you can even get a 30 amp outlet.
Oh, wow.
In the bed of your truck. So you could plug your camper directly up to your truck.
If only they would put it on the F-250.
I'm sure they probably will. So that is a really attractive feature. And I've heard that Cybertruck is going to have that as well. I have to admit, I'm a little nervous about the Cybertruck. I don't know if an all electric solution will really work. I still think you need some sort of internal combustion engine, if nothing else, just to extend the range of your Cybertruck. I would like to have some sort of onboard fossil fuel burning generator. I know Elon Musk would hate to hear that, but I want to thank Margaret Mary Wagner for the kind super chat. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Margaret Mary Wagner.
And also want to recognize Ivan Josie RV Journey.
Let's see.
Says,
oh, okay.
Your thoughts on lift loader, airbags, rear, and Sumo Springs front.
We've never done any of those sorts of upgrades.
We
to
haven't.
Our truck.
I thought about doing the airbags, and I haven't ruled it out. But when I looked into it, I just didn't think it was really necessary for our setup, to be honest. If we needed more ground clearance, we could get a lift kit on our Airstream that would actually raise the height of the trailer a bit. So I don't know. Maybe somebody else can advise you about those modifications. We did change the alternator in our truck. David's asking about how the MechMan alternator is working out. We've been very happy with it overall. And I think it's going to be kind of a game changer for us with our solar setup, because now with confidence, we can recharge our lithium batteries when we're towing.
It definitely made an improvement in our travels once we added that in.
So we're going to pretty much arrive with 100% battery charge anywhere we go. And that's going to be, I think, a game changer for us. That's one reason I was thinking we might get by with a smaller generator for our next Airstream trip, because we won't need to use our generator as often. but
I think
the
we
jury's
missed
still out.
somebody
All right,
here.
we're going to catch up to Patty in just a minute. Catherine says Buc-ee's will allow RVs to park on the perimeter. You just need to go inside and alert the management.
Oh,
That is very
didn't know
good
that.
to know.
Thank you very much.
All right.
John
Boney
Boney.
says from 2 RVing pit bulls to
wow.
baby girl.
They can be your bodyguards, baby
Yeah.
girl.
Baby girl is the piranha of the Chihuahuan desert. The Chihuahua. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate
Thank
the
you,
super
Eric,
chat very much.
so much. We appreciate that.
There's Dan Dubay.
Oh, Dan Dubay.
It's always good to see Dan.
Hi, Dan. And I hope we're saying your last name right. I always wonder.
Yeah, let us know.
But Dan has been part of LOLOHO Nation, I think maybe since our first year.
Yeah.
If not our first year of 2007, then darn close. But yeah.
Wow. I want to acknowledge some people that we
Denise,
might have missed. Thank you,
MDB
Denise.
60.
It's always good to see you.
A member here on YouTube. So thank you very much. We appreciate that. And Captain Ron.
Yeah, I want to, Dan, when did you discover Long Long Honeymoon? I'd be curious to
chime
know.
in and let us know.
Captain Ron says, from your neighbor a little bit north of y'all, glad you're safe. Just got back from camping this weekend. Lots of rain and flooding.
Yes, there's so much mud and muck out there right now. We need it to dry out a little bit before we can even pull our camper out of where she's parked right now.
Yeah,
So
this time of year, especially in this area, maybe it's true everywhere, you really do have to check the weather forecast because every day or two, there can be another surprise. Like this morning, we had really strong thunderstorms, and I'm talking about winds of more than 60 miles per hour, a lot of lightning, and there's a tree near us that I guess got struck by lightning this morning. It was split in half. So just the point being, this time of year is a little bit dicey. There was Dan's comment.
well, we missed somebody in the mix here. Patty Jo Lemke did a super chat, and
We're going to find it.
it wouldn't let me go back far enough on your computer to get to it. They kind of comments and everything fly by so fast that sometimes we miss people. So I just didn't want Patty Jo to think that we missed her. She said, we started watching because we were new to RV life for the great information you always offer. After 3 years, we continue watching for the humor you bring to the world of RV living. Well, thank you very much, Patty Jo. We appreciate that. That's a very kind comment. And if we can find you, we'll put you on the screen. I'm sorry. Comment again. Just say hi so we can see you and at least acknowledge you there.
And by the way, a lot of people have asked about stickers. Like we're going to have some new sticker designs that will probably be being printed this next week.
Yeah.
And
if you join our Patreon at the $5 level, you get a sticker. All you have to do is process through for 1 month to get that sticker. So if you're somebody that just wants a sticker and you don't want to be a recurring patron, you can join Patreon and then just cancel after the first month with your $5. And just leave us a note saying that you're just here for the sticker and you're leaving after a month. So we'll know we didn't offend you or something.
Well, we're going to try and get the stickers out there and have them on Amazon so that people could buy them and maybe they'll just automatically ship out.
It's just such a process to get a product through Amazon that you send them versus one that they create themselves. So bear with us on that.
Ivan Josie RV Journey asked, what pre-checks do you conduct when getting ready for a trip? We're new RVers, and I feel that the RV shop is charging me a lot. We should do a pre-flight checklist. I mean, of course, I guess part of it depends on what kind of RV you got. It looks like you have a motorhome, so your pre-flight checklist would be a little bit different than ours.
Yeah.
But, obviously, I think tires are important.
Yes.
Because like if you think about the potential failure points, blown tire can really ruin your trip.
Yeah, I think it's just the basic pre-checks, make sure your fridge is working, make sure your outlets are working, make sure you can plug into power and that everything's coming through the way it's supposed to.
We usually get the oil change in our truck, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and then also check your roof for any sort of seams that need to be, resealed because a roof leak can make a trip.
You know what I would check?
Really bad.
Especially this time of year. I mean, I don't know where you live, but check your air conditioner.
Yes.
Because I know many people that have gotten on the road and that first night they discover that their air conditioner is not working.
Yeah, or it'll work for like 5 minutes and then it dies.
Yeah.
Or it's blowing, but it's not cold.
I would really put it through its paces before you get out on the road. Because
Yeah.
that happened to us on our trip to Alaska, which was my favorite trip we've ever taken with our RV, but it was also just the most troublesome. We had so many things fail on that trip,
Yes.
including the air conditioner. And it was just blisteringly hot when we left to go to Alaska. I'm talking about 110, 115 degree temperatures as we were driving through the Midwest. And for the first couple of days, we had no air conditioning in the camper. So like at night, it's probably like,
and it was
95.
like 90 degrees outside. So inside it was like 100 degrees. It was miserable.
And like, we're just getting by on fans. You're just like, but we got through it. But you learn to appreciate air conditioning when you don't have it. So I would definitely check that. Let's see. Any recommendations for folks heading down to your neck of the woods? Birmingham,
Thank
Huntsville,
you for your
or
super
Tupelo?
chat.
Okay, Tupelo. It's so funny you should ask. There's the birthplace of Elvis Presley.
Yes.
And we actually went there last year. We've been there a couple times. It's just one of those, I don't know, it's a stop on the highway if you're going to Memphis from where we live. And if you appreciate Elvis, you know, it's just kind of fun to see.
Yeah.
I guess it's his birthplace and where he spent his childhood years.
Right.
Huntsville Space and Rocket Center.
Absolutely.
Like that's a must see. It really is a fantastic museum there.
And there's a great little RV park right next to the Space Center. It's full hookup and it's like $20 a night. So you can't beat that.
And Huntsville has a pretty good craft brewery scene these days. So there's some pretty good places to check out.
There's a really cool bar downtown that has a bunch of arcade games, like old school arcade games. I can't think of the name of it, but if you just browse around for like arcade games in Huntsville, if you're into that kind of thing, you know, it's very 80s with all the, you know, pinball machines and Pac-Man and King Kong. And
Birmingham, we should do a video on Birmingham. I mean, there are several good museums. There's the Vulcan Park. There's Railroad Park downtown. There's Oak Mountain State Park, which is right outside Birmingham.
That has a really great RV park.
Yeah, and that's a really great place to camp. In fact, that's pretty much where we would recommend for people who are kind of passing through the area, although you're not going to have quick access to downtown.
Right.
Birmingham is a foodie town. There's great restaurants in Birmingham.
Lots of great restaurants.
In fact, last year, the #1 restaurant in the country, according to
won the James Beard Award for best restaurant in the United States, was Highland Bar and Grill.
Now, this is a super fancy restaurant, and you know it's the type of place you have to book reservations far in advance.
At least 3 weeks, I think.
I think they're still closed due to COVID. So
yeah, but they have two sister restaurants, Bottega Cafe, and then also Chez Fonfon. All of those are more casual restaurants that you don't really have to have a reservation for. And they're all really good.
But if you want casual good food, look into barbecue, because the barbecue scene in Birmingham
lots of great barbecue.
Yeah. Let's see.
Hot chicken is a good thing to get here too. Eugene's Hot Chicken. There's also Hattie B's Hot Chicken, which is the originals in Nashville. But
some other pre-flight check. Glenn says make sure your wife is in the truck.
That's I don't know. Sometimes I think Sean would like to leave me behind.
And that's not very nice. Roland says check the propano levels.
That's right.
In the tanks.
Make sure you're not out of propane.
Yeah, that's happened to us too. We pretty much made every mistake, done everything wrong.
Gosh, we've done it all wrong more than once. We still do things wrong, and I think that's part of it. You just have to remember that, you know, you're going to make mistakes, just like you do in anything else. Look at your cute dog, Hope.
Hope says, can't wait till LOLOHO returns to Alaska and Canada.
That might happen next year. We're talking about it.
I mean, we even thought about doing it this year, but
I don't think we can cross the Canadian border
we've
yet.
got the COVID issues. The COVID.
We haven't been able to get vaccinations here yet. We aren't old enough to qualify yet, but I think they're going to open it up to us in the next few weeks. So we'll get in line for that so that we'll be able to go up to Canada.
Jamie asked if there are any more books coming out soon. I do have a couple of books. If you're into the market for buying an Airstream, I would say check out the How to Buy an Airstream, because that saves people thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
As far as additional books, I probably should write some books.
Sean's an excellent writer.
I enjoy writing, but it's also terribly painful. So like writing a book is just it's like running a marathon. Like you might enjoy taking a pleasant short jog. Now, if somebody comes to you and says, "How about jogging for 26 miles or whatever a marathon
Right.
is. You're like,
Yeah.
well, so that's kind of what writing a book is like. But
Yeah.
thank you very much. I appreciate that you're enjoying it.
Somebody
Michael,
else. Oh, go ahead.
I want to say Michael Sullivan says first bucket list trip he took was Graceland.
Yeah.
The
Graceland
Birthplace.
is a really interesting place to visit. If you haven't been, it's really cool. We went, gosh, years ago. We were there for a friend of mine who's from Memphis got married. We were there for her wedding. And so we went while we were there. And it was a lot of fun. Graceland is a lot smaller than you expect it to be. I thought it was going to be this giant mansion. It's not really that big of a house. But back then, when he bought it, I guess it was considered a really big house.
I want to give a shout out to Beth
Oh,
Waiter.
gosh.
Says, love your videos. We had our expedition and Airstream probably totaled by hail yesterday on our way to Tennessee.
Oh,
It's
I'm
so
so
sad.
sorry to hear that.
Hail is the Airstreamer's great
Nightmare.
fear.
It's
Yeah,
your
it's a nightmare
greatest
scenario.
worry.
Because if you get caught in a bad hailstorm, of course, a really bad hailstorm can destroy anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen houses destroyed by hail.
In fact, in Sean's hometown, in kind of more North Alabama, Coleman, was it last year? I believe there was a
couple years
terrible
ago.
hailstorm where softball size hail fell. It totaled like all the cars at like 2 different car dealerships. We had a friend who all the windows were busted out of the front of their house. They had holes in their roof, and had to have like all their hardwood floors redone, their kitchen cabinets,
like people's homes
everything,
were destroyed by hail.
just from the hail being that big, busting through windows.
But now with Airstreams, if those of you out there who don't have Airstreams, don't know, the metal skin is aluminum, which is a relatively delicate or soft metal. So it doesn't take softball size hail to total out an Airstream. You know, a modest hailstorm, it just leaves irreparable damage. And you can replace those panels on an Airstream,
They're
but
so
it's very
expensive.
expensive and a very time consuming process.
Yeah.
You know, like some of the large panels might cost $8,000 a panel.
By
And
the
that's just
time
for
you
one
pay the
panel.
labor and everything for them to, remove it, put a new one on.
By the
In
way,
fact, we met somebody this past year when we were at Vinny's North Bay Airstream Repair in California having some work done. And this guy's Airstream had been in a hailstorm. And he was like, I just didn't see the point in fixing it. It doesn't look that bad to me. And so he had a personalized tag on the back of his Airstream. And he said, I named my Airstream Dimples. And I thought that was so cute.
There's one option.
I mean, he had a good sense of humor about it. And he was like, I love my camper and I'm just going to keep it. So I thought that was really funny and a good attitude to have.
Something we had done at Vinny's last year, of course, was the ceramic coating put on our aluminum, because that aluminum is delicate and vulnerable to damage. It's also vulnerable to what they call filiform corrosion. And with that ceramic coating, it should protect it against filiform corrosion. Now, will ceramic protect it against hail? I don't know, is my honest answer. It might protect a little bit. Like I said, these larger hailstorms are going to be very damaging no matter what. So let's
Patty
see.
Coleman says, Phil and I started watching you guys after we bought our first RV last summer. We love your humor, authenticity, and helpful info. Thanks from the Colemans in Poplar Bluff, Missouri. Well, thank you so much, Patty, for commenting. We appreciate that. We are always happy to hear that we've been helpful to someone. Makes our day.
Yeah, we've got some super stickers.
Yeah.
A lot of Sal.
Is that what? Lotto Sal? Is that right?
Hubby and I are headed to the Smokies in May, staying in Smokewood Campground. Do you have any favorite things to do in the area?
So the Smoky Mountain National Park has a lot of beautiful hikes, some waterfalls. They've got kind of the old settlers' home that you can hike out to, which is really cool. Just the drive through the park is really beautiful. So that's usually what we have done when we visited there. There are all sorts of other things that you can do there. They've got all sorts of crazy museums and shows that you can go to. So we know a lot of people that like to do that. I think you can also do the chairlift. That's open now. When we were there, I don't think that was open yet, but they have a chairlift that goes to the top of the mountain. So you can look out, and I think you can see like 3 states from the top or something.
I did that when I was a kid. I was like 10 years old.
They have a new lookout up there now, or it's not new anymore, but it wasn't there when we were there years ago. So or they were still working on it or something. Anyhow, we didn't get to do it.
Yeah, there's a campground there, Duval in the Smokies. They have a
Yes.
LOLOHO campsite.
Yes, they named it after us.
So
They're
I
the
thought that was
sweetest
super
couple
sweet, yeah.
ever. And it's a nice little kind of hidden campground that we enjoyed quite a lot.
And it's not far from the Smokies. Shout out to Eric.
Hi,
Oswald
Eric.
for
Thank you
Super
so
Sticker.
much.
Thank you,
we
Eric.
appreciate that.
Appreciate it very much.
Oh, look. Acme Racing says The Lost Spider was a great read.
Thanks.
So that's a fiction book that Sean wrote years ago. You can buy it on Amazon. And I think it was a great read, too. I read a lot of books, and I told Sean he stacks up there with some of the best.
If you read The Lost Spider, read the paperback version, because there's sort of like, it was the best version. I know that sounds strange. The Kindle version, I think, is not quite as good, because I think I went through
it. I went back and edited it.
So I need to update the Kindle version of it.
Look, Dan Dubay answered a question. Dan
says he's been watching about 13 years.
Wow.
He remembers getting the Spider book signed by me. Wow. Where did that happen? Was that down in Seaside, or
was it at a Airstream event?
Or it could have been at a Porsche event,
Oh, yeah, maybe so.
The Lost Spider is a novel that I wrote. There's a little bit of language in The Lost Spider. I'll tell you a funny story about The Lost Spider.
Thanks, Dan, for following along all these years.
There was a time when I was thinking, maybe I want to, try writing, not only just writing a novel, maybe becoming a novelist, because I kind of enjoy writing, but then, writing a novel I found to be kind of a tough challenge. So anyway, I wrote kind of a draft of this novel, and it had some profanity and cursing, and there's some pretty harsh language in the first chapter.
Well, there's some violent things.
Happening, and the lead character has a lot of flaws, and he's not the most likable guy, and all this. And so I gave it to my mother to read, and I was kind of cringing.
Who was an English teacher?
She was an English teacher, and she was like, she loved it. She was really happy with it.
She was like, there aren't many bad guys that say dadgummit.
Yeah, but then I went back and I wrote a second draft, because if you're writing a book, you may go through a dozen different drafts. If you're really trying to perfect it. And I gave my mom a second draft of it, and I had cut out a lot of the profanity and the harsh language, because I was embarrassed by it, I guess. And she was like, Sean, I liked that first version better. What did you do? You sort of watered it down.
Yeah. She's like, they didn't seem as mean and imposing as they did the first go around. They're not so scary anymore. So I was going to say,
I just want to point out, Steve says Oak Mountain State Park is closed due to the tornado damage. The tornado did come right through the park, which is kind of terrifying, because I don't think that's ever happened before, to my knowledge.
We saw some of the damage from one of the news helicopters. They put their footage up, and I didn't see the campground, but I saw the boat launch area, and all those trees are just completely flattened, which is so sad, because that park is just so full of huge, beautiful trees. So I was really sad to see those go. Hopefully nobody was injured there.
Good Game Ham Radio and Outdoors is near Tupelo. Says there's some nice parks northeast Mississippi.
There was a comment. Someone was asking about any state in the lower 48 that you haven't visited yet. We have been to all 48 states in the lower 48. We haven't camped necessarily in all of them. I don't know if we camped in Delaware.
Yeah, see, some people will say, well, you haven't really been to Delaware.
We spent some time there, but
we were kind of driving around.
We didn't spend the night in Delaware. We were in another state, but they're so close together sometimes that, it's just.
There's Cheeto.
Hi, Cheeto. Thank you very much.
And Cheeto's Facebook group, I think it's Airstream for Adults or something like that.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, Airstream Addicts for Adults.
Yeah.
Good to see you, as always. I wanted to acknowledge Jim, because he says, love watching your videos. It's cool you enjoyed Alabama Hills.
Alabama Hills was great. We will definitely be back there.
To me, that was a true highlight experience of 2020.
Yeah, that was one of the best places we've camped in a while, I think.
The low light that was 2020, 2020 the pandemic era, the Alabama Hills was fantastic. I mean, and we've heard rumor that things could be changing there, and that they may start requiring, I don't know,
that you register
or something. So I don't know about those details, but I would say that if you're anywhere in that vicinity and looking for a fantastic off the grid camping experience, go to the Alabama Hills.
Yeah.
Strikingly
beautiful. And that little
beautiful
town, Lone Pine, is the town that's right there. It's not even 15 minutes away. that has, you know, some cute little restaurants and a little grocery store. So you've got supplies right there that are easy to get to. So I would go back to Alabama Hills in a heartbeat.
Cybarge says you can fly up and get your vaccine in Alaska. That is an interesting proposition.
Can we fly to Alaska right
Because
now?
Elizabeth says the Canadian border is closure is extended to April 21st.
Well, boo.
Yeah, so we can't drive
So we
through
could
Canada.
fly to Canada. I mean, Alaska, but not drive there.
Hello, Mike
Hi,
in
Mike
Canada.
Webster.
Sadly, we can't drive through
I
your
know.
country. Let's see. Chrissy asked, do you ever require four-wheel drive on your truck? You know, I've done a video that I haven't even posted about the whole four-wheel drive, two-wheel drive discussion. And I need to post that video because it's an interesting topic. And as far as have we ever needed it, I wouldn't say we've necessarily needed it, but you get in places like the Alabama Hills, if you're into off-roading, you know, there's an entire off-road scene of people who they call it like overlanding. I mean, if you really want to go one step further out there, then I think four-wheel drive is helpful. Right. Now, but it is one of those things where I've talked to, you know, there's some great channels on YouTube of guys who go out and basically rescue other guys who are stuck. So it's like, even if you have four-wheel drive,
it doesn't mean that you're
it doesn't mean you're not going to get stuck. You know,
if anything, sometimes it just makes you think you can go places that you can't.
Yeah. One guy told me, he said, well, four-wheel drive will get you a little bit further down the road that you shouldn't have been on in the first place. Otherwise, you'll end up getting stuck too. So,
and we've heard from tow truck drivers before that they rescue more people in four-wheel drives than they do in two-wheel drives, specifically for that reason. A lot of people think, oh, I've got four-wheel drive, I can go anywhere. Not really.
Now, Neil says it's possible to travel through Canada to Alaska, but you must go directly and quickly, no sightseeing until you're in Alaska.
So you're saying that we can't stop at the hot springs?
At Liard Hot Springs?
Liard Hot Springs? I mean, it is a campground for the night.
Stan and Rhonda asked about Champion versus Harbor Freight. My only experience really is with Champion. I haven't tried the Harbor Freight models, but I will say that I haven't heard anything negative from any Champion owner. Like, and I think they're universally
Champion
happy.
Is known for having really good customer service.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think they're a great value brand, and it's just great value for money, and their customer service is great too. And, you know, I sort of read a lot of comments, and of course, a lot of people send us a lot of messages, and you'll hear from a lot of people who are Champion owners who are really happy with their purchase. So we already had a Yamaha. We had several other brands, and I was hearing so much positive feedback about Champion. I just thought we need to get some knowledge about them. Mm-hmm. And now, out of all the generators we bought, that little 3,000 watt unit is my personal favorite. Somebody was asking, what's the best generator? That's a whole different topic. And we'll do more videos about generators. Yeah. But the best one for our needs, I think, is probably still that little 3,000 watt.
With the remote start.
With the remote start. But
it's real hard to beat the remote start.
But I will be talking more about this dual fuel 2,500 watt that we just got. And I'm still got more testing to do on it before I can make a final conclusion on it. But I do like it a lot. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, we've talked about the Smokies.
We talked about
that. Let's see. Here's a question about the ceramic. Jeff asks, does the ceramic coating protect from moderate hail? I asked Vinny about that, and he kind of said he wouldn't expect that necessarily. He explained it because I think it has to be slightly bendable, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. We need to get, I tell you what, we should get Vinny and Brian on to talk more about the ceramic, because I think it's
to give you more specific answers, because we don't know the details.
Yeah. I mean, I think the ceramic is awesome, but like I said, some of these bad hailstorms, there's nothing you can do. You know?
I know that it can protect against like light scratches that you can get from like tree branches and that sort of thing. You know,
so
like
I would
brushing
think
past.
Light hail, it might protect
maybe,
from.
But it might not be hail that would have left a dent anyway. You know, so I don't know.
See, Diane says, bad wind out here in the west. Just saw where 2 trailers were totaled and blowing off the highway. Then there was the trailer off the bridge near me. I don't know if you guys saw this, but it was about a week ago I believe in Idaho.
Yes.
That a truck literally like went halfway over a bridge. And actually it was over the bridge, and it was only the safety chains
attached to the travel trailer
that were preventing the truck from plunging down into a gorge. Mm-hmm. And it certainly would have killed everybody on board. There was man and woman and 2 dogs.
Yes, they saved them all.
Yeah.
They all were okay. I mean, they had to go to the hospital. They had injuries, but nobody died. Nobody had like life-threatening injuries. So, it's a miracle.
Batdorf
Absolutely.
asked about portable waste totes. Now, we don't really carry a portable waste tote, but I think there's one. I think it's the Rhino brand. We've got some listed in our Amazon store.
Those are sort of the gold standard of waste totes.
You want to get one that's got wheels and some way to pull it around. And a lot of those waste totes, you can also hook onto a hitch ball. And so you could actually tow it to the dump station. Mm-hmm. So I'll tell you what, we will look into getting a waste totes just to do a review of some, just to give you some firsthand knowledge. I mean, we've used them from time to time, but we typically don't carry one
just because we don't have a place to store it.
Yeah.
They're kind of big to store, so definitely something
Andrew
to think
recommends Barker for waste totes. All right. Patrick says it's almost game time. Have a happy Easter. That is an excellent point, Patrick.
5 minutes to game time.
Like I said, I'm really more of a football guy than a basketball guy, but about once every 20 years, Alabama has a good basketball team. And I think this is the year. So, I have to pay attention now. We've got a good team. We're going to win it all.
It doesn't get interesting to like the last 10 minutes of the game usually anyway. So
like, what kind of a fan am I? Just tuning in for the tournament. Like now it's the Sweet 16.
Yeah. You're probably like most people. Most people do that.
I guess so. Let's see. I was just going to mention Austin says he has an Airstream Globetrotter and is talking about the Blue Ox and the different hitch options and cart. I will be looking into replacing all of our hitch gear very soon. In fact, we need to do that this next week. We also need to have our propane tanks recertified.
Yes. And it's so hard to find somebody to recertify them. Our tanks are aluminum. And so that's why we want to recertify them. If we were to buy new ones, they're like something like $500 or $600, which is insane. But
we'll eventually have to buy new ones.
I mean,
but I think we could get another
right
few
now,
years out of
I
ours.
think they're still in good shape where we can recertify them, but we're just having a hard time finding somebody that can recertify them because they don't want the liability, which I understand, but it's just, geez, come on, people.
I was going to say, good game, ham radio. And Outdoors got the Rhino waste tote. I was about to use it for the first time, and we'll be making a video.
Oh, wow.
Naval says I should do a book of cheesy jokes. Cheesy.
He's calling you cheesy.
I thought I was edgy. It's edgy humor, not cheesy. I have a second channel that very few people watch called Shawn Michaels Simulation, where I post more international type content. And I thought that I might have like sort of Shawn Uncensored over there and have a little bit more edgy humor.
We're going to meet the real Shawn.
Yeah, maybe that's a bad idea.
No, it's not bad.
It's kind of like, you remember Bob Saget that used to do America's Funniest Home Videos?
So he's saying, right.
Go ahead.
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's all right.
David Bottles is saying welding supply store can recertify our tanks. Is that what you're telling me? That's a good idea. I had not thought of calling them. So thank you for that tip.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
About that.
For those of you who don't understand what we're talking about, if you have propane tanks in your RV, and most of us do, they have a lifespan. And for most of them, it's 10, 15 years. And then after that point, you can have them recertified for an additional like 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
And then you have to go again. But then after, I think, 22 or 25 years, they've reached the end of their limit and you can't have them recertified anymore.
So we've had ours for 10 years. We recertified for 5 more years. And now it's time to recertify them again. And the last 2 places I tried to get it done, they told me they didn't do it anymore. So I've got to make some phone calls around town and see who I can find that would be willing to do it.
All right. Neil says I could jokes to read in the bathroom. I'm going to call it dump station humor. How about see? You got me thinking now.
This will be his next book published on Amazon.
Yeah, I could actually probably.
Jokes for the dump station.
Somebody says all the waste tote tanks wheels fall off.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that would be a bad thing to have happen.
Yeah.
The wheel fall off while you're toting that. Yikes.
Yeah, that's you never realize how heavy water is until you start lugging it around, in large quantities like that. And if you're lugging around dirty water, you know, you don't want to have your wheels fall off.
Somebody else was commenting and mentioning that we could take our tanks to a dive shop or to, where else did they say? It was further up in the comments.
Scott G says, get rid of those aluminum tanks. When they fail, it's bad. I can imagine. Are they more likely to fail, Scott, in your opinion, than some of the others? And maybe they are. Let's see. Twisted Nuts asks, what are the actual decibels at low RPM for our Champion? Well, spoiler alert, I'll tell you, about 52 to 53 decibels when the generator is at idle. I'm talking about the 2500 watt Champion. I did some sound noise tests yesterday and was really impressed with the noise output at those lower RPMs. Now, when it revs up, the noise revs up as well.
Right. Ivan Josie RV Journey says, we are going to Moab, arriving June 26th for 4 days. We do not tow a vehicle. Should we rent one? Is there a particular full hookup RV park you recommend? If you don't have a vehicle, I would recommend renting one because there aren't a lot of places to pull over and park an RV inside of arches. I don't think you'll have as much a problem in Canyonlands, but in arches, you're going to have a hard time finding a place to park an RV to get out and see the arches.
Plus, I would say specifically at Moab, there's a lot of off-roading around there. There are a lot of vehicle rental options.
Yes.
A lot of people rent those Razors specifically really just to go off-road, but you can rent Jeeps as well. And that might allow you to further explore the area pretty much any way you would want to. Because there's a lot of land around there outside the parks even that is really interesting just to go overlanding. And
there are a lot of Jeep rental places there too. And so I think if you were to rent one of those, you would have a lot of fun because there are a lot of those trails that you can drive on. Some of them even go through, is it Dead Horse Point State Park?
Yeah.
I think the trails kind of go through the canyon there.
I think maybe Canyonlands too.
Maybe in Canyonlands too. It's a really cool area. And I think the next time we go there, we will probably rent one of those so that we can do some of that exploring.
Yeah, Moab is really off-roading.
But I definitely would recommend that you rent a vehicle of some sort just so you can get through arches, if nothing else. As far as particular full hookup RV parks, really in Moab, they're kind of all the same. It's just depending on what end of town you want to be on. We've stayed at the, what's the name of it? Something Trails.
Patricia says, check the campaign.
Yeah.
We stayed right downtown in Moab at one of those.
It's Something Trails RV park, but it's right there kind of near the brewery. It's across the street from the brewery and maybe like a block down if you get online and look. But there are probably 10 or 12 full hookup RV parks right there in town, and they're all pretty much the same. The one we stayed at had more trees than the others, so that would be the one benefit I would say it had, but the sites were smaller, so if you have a really big rig, I wouldn't suggest staying there. But yeah, they're all pretty much the same, full hookup. It's not like you're going to have a great view from any of them, so I would just pick whichever part of town you would prefer to be in.
There's some good little restaurants in Moab. There's kind of a little bit of a nightlife scene there.
There's some good breweries. There's a really good Thai restaurant, and
Utah has changed its beer laws. If you like beer, you can get
real beer.
You can get real beer in a brewery now in Utah. So
you used to have to just get like low alcohol content beer.
I used to enjoy teasing Utah a little bit about that, but
now you can't do it anymore. Teasing.
It always tasted good, but Rick says you can get 40-pound propane bottles with gauge at Costco for $60. I have to see that, but I don't think we can put those or mount those on our Airstream.
We might be able to, but the reason why I think it's such a big deal that we have aluminum ones is they are much less heavy. They weigh a lot less than the traditional tanks, and so that's helpful for it to weigh less. So I think that's why they put them on Airstreams.
Hey, Aparicio says, hello from Houston. Thanks to y'all, we got into this mess. We love it.
Well, hopefully you don't think it's too much of a mess now, or at least it's a fun mess.
I hope it's a fun
thanks so
mess.
much.
Some people were asking about whether we use our refrigerator on propane as we're traveling down the highway. We have done a video about that topic. Truthfully, we typically do leave it on. A lot of people will turn it off. So it's probably the best practice to turn it off. So like my advice would be to turn it off. But in the real world, some people, I mean, sometimes
Wink,
people
wink.
don't always do that.
Yeah. You know, and some people will tell you to definitely turn it off at a fueling station.
Scott says those aluminum tanks can explode.
Great.
Yeah, that would be an interesting way for a long honeymoon to end. But season finale, series finale.
Knock on wood.
Boom.
Don't even say such a thing. That's terrible.
Well, be dramatic, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Nobody would know, though, because there's nobody that would be able to post it on our channel.
All good things must come to an end.
Several
Every
people
series
have been
must
wishing
end.
my dad a happy birthday. Thank
Yeah.
you very much. We appreciate that. My dad turned 82 on Monday, and we had the pleasure of getting to spend some time with him and some of our other family, and it was really good. My parents have been fully vaccinated at this point, so they kind of have a little bit more freedom than they did before. So they're actually getting out and doing a few things now. So that's exciting.
Yeah, I was thinking about Todd when I mentioned those Utah beer laws. Because he says he does not drink, but he's pleased that those laws changed.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win for everyone. You know, one of my longtime best friends lives in the Salt Lake City area.
Yes.
I'm sure I've told you before. And
We often bring him beer.
yeah, I
when we
used to
come
bring him
town.
beer from Wyoming.
Not anymore. We don't have to.
I would bring him real beer from Wyoming into Utah,
Yeah.
but that's no longer necessary. So, like I said, everybody wins.
Yeah.
Let's see. Mark says all those propane tanks can explode.
True. Which is why you have to get them recertified to make sure they're in good enough shape to keep using them. So.
Let's see. I'm not even sure. So he was pre-filing a B-52. It's an interesting story, interesting tale about. I'm not even sure what that means. Let's see. Yeah, Andrew says he runs the fridge on propane traveling. So, like, my official recommendation is don't do that.
Yeah, I like
does.
Steven's way of thinking here. Where is he?
Steven says,
bring in the stunt
Stunt
doubles
double.
for the finale. Yes, exactly.
did you ever watch Super Dave Osborne? Super Dave, he was
Yes.
great. And like, there would always be an obvious mannequin whenever like he would get into some terrible accident or whenever there was an explosion. We'll get a couple of mannequins. Maybe this is the way I envision it. You know, we're traveling down the highway, maybe in some mountainous region of the country, and you know, Seymour is kind of just struggling to get over the mountain. The propane tanks are like bouncing around back there. They explode, and it propels Seymour forward over the cliff, and you just see like. Kind of like the end of Thelma and Louise, you know, like you see our Airstream and Seymour just like floating out in midair, you know. Wouldn't that be
if
dramatic?
there was an explosion, though, they wouldn't be doing that. They'd be in
See, I would
pieces.
like to make real films like this. This is what I want to see. This is what I want to bring you guys. Wouldn't you enjoy
Anybody in
seeing
Hollywood want to help us bring that to
that?
life?
We could do Long Long Honeymoon the movie. I will end it that way. I promise.
Who
It's
would
gonna
you
be
want
awesome.
to play you if we did a Long Long Honeymoon movie? That's my question of the day. Anybody have any thoughts on that? Chime in. Who do you think should play Sean in the movie of
I'm gonna
Long
throw out
Long
somebody.
Honeymoon?
Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor, really?
Ewan McGregor. I haven't seen him recently, but you don't like Ewan McGregor?
No, I like Ewan
Well,
McGregor.
if he was
He's
Obi-Wan
funny.
Kenobi, that's good
Yeah.
enough for me. And he also did Long Way Round and Long Way
Yeah.
Down. He's a big motorcycle or traveler guy.
You wouldn't want Matthew McConaughey?
Well, he is an
All right,
Airstreamer.
all right.
All right. Yeah,
I love Matthew McConaughey.
I like him.
He's funny.
Yeah,
He doesn't
I like
take
him.
himself too seriously. I don't think I like that about him.
yeah. Just keep
All right.
JK living, right? Now, who would
JK
play you?
living.
Who would play you?
I don't know. Oh, somebody says Brad Pitt.
Somebody
Matthew
says
McConaughey.
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas
This is sort of
Cage.
hilarious. Brent Spiner. Brent Spiner was
No.
Data from Star Trek.
No to Nicolas
Costner.
Cage.
I like Costner.
Costner's too old.
Will Smith. I like that.
Will Smith.
That'd be an interesting casting. You know, we actually met Will Smith one time.
We
in
did.
Hollywood.
He's a super nice guy.
Forgive me if we've told this story before, but it was our Kristy's first time in California, the
Yeah.
very first morning, And I had lived in California before, and we were staying at this hotel in Beverly Hills, and little did we know.
And we booked this hotel on Priceline, you know, back when you used to just tell them a price that you're willing to pay and like the rate of, you know, amount of how much money you want to spend per night. So we said like $110 a night in Beverly Hills, and we wanted a 4-star hotel. And we got it. And, you know, you don't know what hotel it's going to be until after you pay. And it turns out it was the Beverly Hilton. Well, the Beverly Hilton is where they have like the Golden Globe Awards. You know, it's got that long sort of like rock.
Steve Martin.
Steve Martin, no.
Brad Pitt.
Y'all are picking some old people here. Brad Pitt. I think McConaughey or Brad Pitt would be good. But
anyway, Will Smith was at the hotel, and he was really awesome,
yes.
Super friendly and nice. And
it was the Oscar nominees luncheon the first day we were there.
I like
John Krasinski.
Yes,
I like John Krasinski. I like him a lot.
We have a similar muscular build these days. Krasinski's a guy.
He's so funny.
He is a really
super
funny
nice
guy, and I always thought that he was like the funny guy, and then now he's like a buff action hero guy.
Yeah.
So this is really interesting. Who's
Dermot Mulroney? You know who he is. He's in a lot of like chick flick movies. You would know him if you saw him. I like Dermot Mulroney.
I like the Liam Neeson.
Yeah, he's too old to play you though.
Yeah, but Liam Neeson, I just think of him being on the phone threatening. I can't remember what is it he says. I'll kill you. I'm going to find you.
I will find you.
Captain Kangaroo. God, I loved Captain Kangaroo.
Al Pacino.
Yeah, Pacino.
I don't think so.
This is hilarious.
Somebody else says Harrison Ford. He's too old. He does look like Harrison Ford, a young Harrison Ford. He gets that a lot. A lot of people tell you look like Harrison Ford.
These days you look like an old Harrison Ford. You look exactly like Harrison Ford. I mean, like 80-year-old
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
See, we need to make real movies.
That's hilarious.
Pacino.
Oh, Chris Pine. Chris Pine.
Man, these are some good.
Chris Pine is the best looking guy in Hollywood, in my opinion.
Here's the best one yet. Zach Galifianakis. I could see that.
No.
If he would shave and put on a Tilly hat.
No. Oh, somebody said Blake Lively to play me.
Blake Lively. Yeah.
That's nice.
Billy Bob
She's
Thornton.
Really pretty. That's hilarious.
Reese Witherspoon.
Oh, I love Reese Witherspoon.
Hey, maybe we could do a Long Honeymoon movie starring Reese Witherspoon and Matthew McConaughey.
That'd be great.
Or,
you know, Reese Witherspoon actually has an Airstream. She doesn't talk about it much, but sometimes it's in the background of some of her Instagram videos.
Danny DeVito. I can see DeVito.
He would need some stilts or something because Sean's 6'2". If you don't know that, he's kind of a tall guy. So Gerard Butler,
Gary Busey, before the cocaine or after the cocaine?
Yeah, for real. Mike Myers.
Sorry, this is great. This is the most entertaining comment thread.
Kristy Brinkley, she's only about 25 years too old to play me. I appreciate it though. She is very beautiful.
I think this is the most
Christopher Walken.
Keanu Reeves.
No. Yes. Oh God.
Richie says he's worked with Harrison Ford. Great guy.
Is he really nice?
You know, funny story about Harrison Ford. He, for many, many years, really for decades, has had a place in Jackson Hole area, Teton County. And so, like, he will occasionally pop up in local grocery stores and in restaurants there. And
he volunteers sometimes to fly their rescue helicopter. Can you imagine if you were being rescued off the mountain and you look up and it's Harrison Ford flying your helicopter? That'd be so bizarre.
It's funny.
Yeah.
A few years ago, Jimmy Buffett was flying a seaplane. And he had to make an emergency landing, on some beach. And it's like all these people there on the beach, the seaplane comes in and lands, and out steps Jimmy Buffett. It's
like, I thought it was like a publicity thing or something. Was there going to be a concert?
That's who you want to see. Travolta,
Chris Hemsworth. That's nice.
Julie Bowman.
He's cute.
There's some actress that people always say that you look like Connie
Britton.
Connie Britton.
She has kind of red, what do you call it? Kind of strawberry blonde hair. So she's got more red hair.
She's in a lot of sort of country music type stuff.
Yeah, she was on the show Nashville. She was on
Sam Neill.
Friday Night Lights.
Sam Neill.
Yeah, I like Connie Britton.
Yeah. Somebody says Harrison Ford has crashed his plane too many times now. Yeah, if he's your rescue pilot,
you might be in trouble now.
I'd be like, can I take the next helicopter, please? It's nice to meet you, Mr. Ford.
Sad.
So
Several
Henry
people have said
Cavill.
they've met
You like
him.
that guy, don't you?
Henry Cavill. Yeah, he plays
No.
Superman now. I watched him on the Tudors. Now he's like this big, like super buff guy. You almost don't even recognize him. He looks so different.
Well, you can't really have a skinny Superman running around, can you?
Clark Kent was supposed to be sort of gawky and awkward.
Only when the glasses are on. Like the glasses
you
for
wear
the ultimate
glasses
disguise.
and then you take them off. You don't have any here.
Yeah.
Where are your glasses?
With my glass, they're around here somewhere. So this is me as Clark Kent. So like for some reason in Superman, this is an incredible disguise. No one recognizes you as Superman if you're wearing glasses. But then, you take off the glasses and it's Superman. I never would have recognized you.
Kimberly's journey says she's listening to this on her way to work and it's cracking her up. That's hilarious.
Well,
thanks, Jamie. I'm glad we're giving you a laugh. Somebody says, okay, let's get back to RVing.
Sorry. We're having a little bit too much fun here.
Sometimes it's fun to talk about other things.
Yeah, I mean, this is good. Bob Odenkirk, Better Call Sean. So I'm going to work on the Long Long Honeymoon screenplay now. And I will end it by crashing our rig off the mountain. All right, we probably should wrap up. I think we've been talking for 90 minutes. And
That's
I
a
think
long time.
Alabama and UCLA are playing right now.
Oh, Bruce Johnson, thanks for the super sticker.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out and acknowledgement to Bruce. Thank you so much. Acme Racing said Kirstie Alley.
I used to get called Kirstie Alley a lot when I was in high school. That's when Cheers was like the big thing.
Somebody's listening to us while driving. They're driving under the influence of Long Long Honeymoon. Jeff says, gotta run. It's been a hoot. Yeah, thank you guys. This has been a really fun chat. I know it's been a little bit different. Usually we're really focused on specific RV topics, but we had the craziest week. If you followed the entire chat, we had a major severe weather event this week. We had a major Chihuahua health scare, but
she's doing okay.
She's doing okay.
Yay!
So we made it through the week, and hopefully we will have smoother, happier times ahead. We're just thankful that everybody made it through the tornado,
Yes.
okay. And we're, of course, thinking about those who did not, because it was.
So thank you for your well wishes. Anybody that's been asking about my aunt and uncle, they're doing okay. They're in a corporate apartment now. They have a loaner car for my parents right now because all the rental cars are taken in Birmingham. Can you believe that? From so many people, I guess, that have had tornado damage. I don't know. But anyhow, they're doing fine. Our family is a big family. We'll take good care of them. And we're just happy that they're in one piece. We're happy baby girl is in one piece, that she's recovering from her pneumonia. It was super scary.
Doing better, aren't you, girl?
But she's doing so much better.
I want to give a shout out to Jim Pratt, who's our longtime moderator.
Yes, thank you, Jim.
I didn't even want to bother you tonight, Jim, because really I was working on this generator review and I thought I was going to post it today. And frankly, I felt it would benefit from another week of testing.
Yeah.
And we had such a crazy week. We thought we'll do a live chat, and it was so sort of last minute. I didn't want to bother Jim with it. So but we really appreciate you showing up as always.
Yes.
We had one troll that was wanting Kristy to lift her shirt. and
that poor guy. That's all I can say about that.
I think maybe he probably was celebrating Mardi Gras.
Oh, right.
And they do that in New Orleans. It's a cultural thing.
Mm-hmm.
Mach 5 could tell us about that. So that was
happy birthday to my dad. It was last week. My parents' 59th wedding anniversary was on Friday. So happy anniversary to my parents. And what else? We've just had a lot going on. This next week is my birthday. And it's Easter. So happy Easter to everyone out there who is celebrating Easter.
Is baby girl a good watchdog?
No.
I would say absolutely not. Baby girl rarely makes a peep.
Yeah, it's a lot for baby girl to make a sound. She doesn't make many sounds. So that's okay. We love her anyway.
Frank asks, is a generator or inverter? Well, it could be either or. Really, it's
an inverter
generator.
Is a type of generator.
Yeah, but you could have an inverter that's not, well, we'll talk more about that next week.
Yes.
All right.
Can have a
We're
generator
going
that's not an inverter. So
to sign off and go watch Alabama defeat UCLA. Thank you,
War Eagle.
as always, for tuning in to this episode of Long, Long Honeymoon Live. We got some cool stuff coming out soon. Watch for brand new sticker designs and a new generator review next week. We're getting ramped up to go camping.
Yes. We'll be hitting the road again in probably 3 weeks.
Yeah. So maybe sooner than that.
Yeah.
So
Mid-April.
Thank you
We'll be
guys
back on the
very
road.
much. This was a really fun chat. And I'm going to, get on the phone to my agent out in Hollywood to cast the Long, Long
You
Honeymoon
have
movie.
an agent in Hollywood?
You didn't know about
I
that?
didn't know about that. Where have you been hiding this?
McConaughey has a YouTube channel now, so
I know,
we
he
should
just
do a
started it.
collaboration. Maybe we'll go to Austin and
We need all of you guys to flood Matthew McConaughey's YouTube channel and say, why don't you do a collab with Long Long Honeymoon?
Yeah.
Right? We need your help.
It makes sense.
Grassroots effort here.
Frank says it's camping. All right, guys. Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for tuning in. We appreciate it so much.
What do we say on Long Long Honeymoon? We say
LOLOHO.
LOLOHO.